Hi everyone, it's Miss Katie from the Middleton Public Library, and I am here today to talk to you about one of the really great resources for teachers and parents on our website. Let me share my screen with you so you can go along with me on this little tour of this database. First of all, if you are looking for resources for your kids or for yourself, one great option for you is this Librarian's Choice request. If you need a number of books and you want us to pick from what's currently available in our library, this is the place to go. You click on this, fill out the form, and a librarian will personally choose items for you or your family. It's a really great way to make sure you can get books or movies or anything you want on whatever subject you're looking for. This can be for schoolwork or for the classroom, or it can also just be for fun. But to get to the database I want to talk to you about, go to the Resources tab and click our Online Databases. Scroll down, and we are going to take a look today at PBS Wisconsin Education videos. Now, as with all of our online resources, when you are first using them, I suggest just looking at the website, browsing around, figuring out what you can do with it, figuring out how you can use it. One thing that I really like about PBS Wisconsin Education videos is that almost everything on this website comes with a lesson plan of some sort that has been created to go along with these virtual materials. So if we are looking at just one of the ones that I think is really neat is this Kindness in the Classroom, which is all about mindfulness for pre-K and kindergartners mostly. This was developed in collaboration with the Center for Healthy Minds from the University of Wisconsin, and it is all about making kids aware of themselves and aware of their feelings and giving them some coping skills, which we could all use a little more of right now. And one of the great parts about this is if you scroll down here to the Learn section, this gives you, it tells you more about it. It's a free 24 lesson guide that was designed to help those kids with their emotions and self-regulation and just caring for themselves. Things for kids and for everyone are not exactly what we're used to. So some of us might need some help, and their kids need help too, just coping with that and learning how to deal with their emotions. So this gives you everything you need for to teach this lesson, to work on kindness in your classroom, wherever your classroom might be. So you just have to give your information so you can download the curriculum. And I believe this is just for numbers purposes. All right. Another really great resource on this page are these Wisconsin biographies. And this one, the featured one right now, is Gaylord Nelson. But you can look over here under stories, and it shows you all of the local historical figures that you might be interested in. And they feature a video, and they give you book resources, and they show you pictures. There's some fun things like trading cards if you want to collect them in your classroom or something like that. Each of these videos is about 5 minutes long, and it just gives you a pretty brief biography on an important figure in Wisconsin's history. So if we scroll down, it gives you book options. It shows you more web sites to visit about each of these characters, about each of these people as well. All right, let's take a look, go back here. Another featured resource that is really a great one is this Resound, Songs of Wisconsin. And this is a site that brings together some of Wisconsin's musicians. And this one is, again, it includes resources on how you can use these videos in your classroom. It gives you lessons around each of these. And it's just really great to introduce some of these musicians to your students who they may not have heard of before. I'll just scroll down a little bit to give you an idea of what we're looking at. It has interviews with each of the artists, and as well as it plays some of their music for you. Let's click on Sista Strings. These are two sisters who are stringed instrument players. One plays the violin, one plays the cello. And if you click on it, it will play you their interview. We can't play the interviews here because the sound stops for some reason, but there are musicians' interviews. One nice thing about this site is it does give you questions to consider. So you can give these to your kids before you watch them video, and then they can think about that as they listen to the musician talk about their life and about what led them there. It does give you a performance as well, so you can see each of them actually playing their music. And here at the bottom is our resource guide for teachers if you want to use this as a sort of lesson. They give you a head start on how to do that. All right, and we're going to go back and back. And another one I want to talk briefly about is Wisconsin's First Nations. And this one is created by PBS Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin, and it looks like the Department of Public Instruction. And this is all about its educational videos and for teachers and students, resources, lesson plans for all grades, and just learning tools for the classroom or the library, all about Wisconsin's First Nations. It gives you, the ways is an interesting look at current life, the current life of our First Nations or populations in Wisconsin. Also Minnesota and the UP are included in there as well. But it just gives you a look at how life is now. This Lady Thunderhawks is about a basketball team, and it's a really interesting look into what sort of drew this person to basketball and about what it takes to be able to play for their team and how basketball has connected her back to her First Nations tribe. So just, again, it's really hard to touch base in depth on any of these resources. Each of these pages could be its own tutorial, but we really wanted to give a brief look at some of the things on here, some of the sites that you can use, some of the ways you can use this resource for yourself and for your classroom or for your students at home or your kids. This one, you can also go, I just looked at some of the featured ones. There are more, of course. If you browse resources, you do have the option to look at it by subject and grade or just alphabetically. If we look by subject or grade, I can filter it out. So I just want to look at first grade, things that have information for first graders. And then it'll show you here on your screen which would be appropriate for your first graders or which ones they have lessons for first graders. I want to show you a fun one before we close out this brief, very brief tutorial. And it is called Joe Wilder and the Capital Case. And this one, they suggest for 3rd through 5th graders. And what's fun about this one is that it lets the kids actually play a game. And it's all about historical Wisconsin artifacts. So when you play, you get into this a little bit. You get to play as a character and your grandfather is, helps out in a museum. And it does ask you some questions before you get in, so I'm not going to continue to show you this. But it's just a fun little, somewhat of an adventure for your kids to take. And of course, for teachers, it does give you guiding questions. It talks about the standards that are addressed by going through this game with your students. And it's just a fun way to get kids sort of excited about historical artifacts that they might not find interesting otherwise. All right, let's head back to the main page. Of course, I have barely touched on everything that this database can offer you. I suggest you take a look at it, browse around, find something that's interesting for you. We really just wanted to give you a quick introduction about it and introduce you to a resource you may not know is available. So thank you so much for taking the time to check out this tutorial and learn a little bit about a database you might not have known about before. Please check back. We are going to have videos all week long about some resources for parents and teachers and students in, for our learning at home environment. This is a wonderful resource for you to use. Our website, midlibrary.org, is where you will find all of those resources, as well as the Librarian's Choice request form that we talked about in the beginning. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all soon.